I was mistaken. Ruslan Chagaev is defending his WBA regular belt against none other than Francesco Pianeta, not Lucas Browne. Lucas Browne is the mandatory, but bizarrely, Ruslan Chagaev, following on from a period of gross inactivity, is being allowed a voluntary before fighting Lucas Browne. I would suggest, bearing in mind his own inactivity, waiting for this fight, Lucas Browne would be advised to have a warm-up fight as well. Having said that, it's a bit of a bizarre title fight. You know, for Ruslan Chagaev, why on earth do you pick a guy like Francesco Pianeta? For a start, 9 out of 10 boxing fans, let's say 9 out of 10 casual fans, won't know who Francesco Pianeta is. Of the people who do know who he is, the vast majority of those will only know him for getting stopped early by Vladimir Klitschko. And this is a guy in Pianeta. He's only lost once to Klitschko. He's got a decent enough sounding record. But who has he actually beaten? I mean, I think the best names on his record are the likes of Oliver McCall, Franz Bofer. We're talking those old school guys who have stayed on for too long. You know, Ruslan Chagaev himself is a guy who's struggling for relevancy. You know, he's been in a few big fights. Obviously, he lost to Klitschko. He lost to Povetkin. When was the last relevant victory that Ruslan Chagaev had? Well, in my opinion, the answer to that is Nikolai Valuev, and that's something like 6-7 years ago now. So I would say neither of these guys, Chagaev and Pianeta, have a relevant victory on their resume. And by relevant, I mean a top 15 heavyweight. Neither of them have a top 15 heavyweight on their resume in the last 5 or 6 years. And I'd go further than that and say it's very debatable that Pianeta ever has beaten a top 15 or even a top 20 heavyweight for that matter. Now, there are so many names in the heavyweight division. It just seems to me very, very odd that Chagaev has chosen Pianeta. Firstly, because it's not a fight that's going to get him much acclaim for winning. It's not a fight that, you know, Pianeta's hardly like the cash cow of the division. It's not going to bring him a lot of attention or a huge amount of finance, surely. So, realistically, what do you gain from beating him? And the risk is that Pianeta is potentially the kind of guy who could upset Chagaev. I mean, Chagaev's getting older, he's 36. He's also a short heavyweight, you know, he's something like 5'11". Pianeta, big guy. I think he stands about 6'5". He's a southpaw, you know, bit awkward. Potentially still has quite a bit of desire, having only one loss on his resume. You know, it's just not the fight I would have chosen if I was Chagaev. It's one of these occasions where, in my mind, risk-reward doesn't add up. I think both of these guys are not guys who I would describe as stereotypical boxers. They're not guys who are reliant on sort of jab, move style. And, yeah, Pianeta, he's a 6'5" southpaw. Yeah, if I was a 6'5" heavyweight southpaw fighting a much shorter man, the obvious thing to do is fight behind the jab. But the fights I've seen Pianeta involved in, and I must be honest, I haven't been following Pianeta's career too closely, but he's not a guy who is overly jab heavy. And I think that's really unfortunate for the purposes of this fight. I mean, I've often seen him try and fight at a bit closer range than I would like. His style is more hooks than jabs and wider punches, which is odd considering that he's got that range and, to be honest, he doesn't carry that much power. And I wonder if stylistically he's somewhat going to play into Chagaev's game, because obviously Chagaev is a smaller guy, historically known as a power puncher, although unclear whether he is a power puncher in today's heavyweight division. But he's not an electric mover, I guess that's the first thing to say. He's a bit of a slugger. He's come forward, he's slightly one-dimensional, he's quite slow, quite plodding. So what I would think is if Pianeta can get on his bike, use his reins and jab his head off, there's a chance to box circles around a guy like Chagaev. I mean, let's put it this way. Right now, I could see Tyson Fury winning every single round against Chagaev, just using that sort of southpaw, box and move, jabbing tactics. I could see a guy like David Price beating Ruslan Chagaev. You know, the list goes on. I really think the way to beat Chagaev is to be someone with boxing capability. And I really don't rule out the Pianeta win here, because I think Chagaev's getting old, he's been inactive, he got taken life or death by Francesco last time he was out, and I see him as a favoured fighter. I'm just not 100% sure Pianeta's got the style to beat him. And I think if Pianeta doesn't, create the distance and keep the reins, and just fights against Chagaev up close, it could play into Chagaev's hands, because Chagaev's a smaller guy, he's got that kind of style. In terms of where I rate both guys, Chagaev, probably borderline top 20, certainly top 30. Pianeta, top 40. And I think it's unfortunate that this WBA belt, I remember before Luis Ortiz got banned, it looked like he was going to get a chance to fight for it. Then it looked like Lucas Brown was going to get a chance to fight for it. It would be nice if these belts could give us an opportunity to see fights made that wouldn't maybe be made without belts, and competitive 50-50 heavyweight clashes. But instead, what do we get? We get Ruslan Chagaev versus Francesco, and Ruslan Chagaev versus Francisco Pianeta. That's not good for the sport. That's not entertainment. That's not driving fan engagement. And realistically, Francisco Pianeta is WBA regular champion. What's he going to do? Is he going to try and get another fight with Klitschko after last time? Is there even point in him winning that belt? A guy like Lucas Brown, who's undefeated, his career is going in an upwards trajectory. You can see why he'd want to win a minor title en route to a bigger event. But a guy like Pianeta, is it even? It doesn't even really make sense to me. We shall see. Nevertheless, despite the fact I'm less than enthused about it, it is a fight between two guys, both in the top 50 of the heavyweight division, taking each other on, and that is a rarity. So, we'll watch it with a level of interest, I guess you could say, and it wouldn't surprise me if Pianeta gets the job done, but not based on his own brilliance, based on Chagaev's age, inactivity, and potential slippage. Let me know your thoughts on this fight. Who are you picking to win? As always, very, very keen to discuss.